based on the proposal that was given by the State Committee. A number of resolutions were taken in my presence today in the meeting that was held in Niathu Resort. The first resolution that we took today officially was to support the candidature that is being proposed and sponsored by the NDPP for the Lok Sabha elections. We have decided as a National People's Party to endorse that candidature and as a party to support the candidature that has been proposed by the NDPP in the true team spirit of the NDA. As you're aware, the NDA partners have expressed similar support to the different political parties of the NDA who have sponsored candidates in different parts of the Northeast. The NDA partners are supporting each other in those states also. For example, in Meghalaya, the NDA partners are supporting the candidature of the NPP. In Arunachal, the NDA partners are supporting the candidature of the BJP. And also in Outer Manipur, the NPF has met me today and they have urged for us to support. And officially we have discussed with the Manipur unit also of the NPP, and our MLAs have also expressed, then the party has expressed that they will support the candidature of the NPF in Outer Manipur also. So hence, this is the spirit in which the entire NDA is today working. And it is in that spirit that we met the Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, Mr. Rio, and we have handed over that resolution to him. And we have expressed, as I said, our full support for the candidature that is sponsored by the NDPP. So running a coalition is not always very simple. As I said, I have also run a coalition and I run a coalition now. There are challenges always in coalition. And we respect those challenges. But at the same time, obviously as coalition partners, we also expect certain kind of responsibilities, as you said correctly, being given to us. Well, working with the government is in itself a responsibility, and taking care of our constituencies is a responsibility, which we are doing now, and we are getting certain support from the Honorable Chief Minister and the government. The idea is to try to bring them together, and the idea is to really figure out how we can carry things forward and move things forward. That there may be concerns. We see this in all political parties. We face this even in our state, and even in our political parties. And that is actually the nature of democracy in one way, you can say. So therefore, everybody expects that their voice will be heard, their concerns will be addressed, and they will be given the importance. But it cannot happen in a manner in which everybody can be. So therefore, these concerns are being addressed. I assure our party leaders, I assure our MLAs that whatever we do, we will be doing what is in the best interest of the party. And more importantly, what is in the best interest of the state and the people. You see, we have to understand what the electoral bonds are all about. And it was actually moved by Government of India to create some kind of an, a process in which funding would take place. This is how funding takes place at the international level. And therefore, the idea was to really bring in some kind of transparency and allowing a process to be there, funding, and not allowing cash to be there in terms of the funding. So it was a decision in the right direction, I should say. For whatever reason, the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court, has come down and asked for a disclosure, which of course was being done in order to protect the political ramifications that one could have because of the donations made. But the information of those donations that are made are actually available with all, because they have to reflect that in their balance sheet and all the other things. So therefore, it was a very transparent process, and something that I feel personally, and from the party's point of view, a step in the right direction towards bringing in slightly cleaner and more transparent funding into the electoral system. That's number one. For whatever reason the Supreme Court has decided, I'm not here to judge on that. But as I said, the decision of the government and Election Commission to make electoral bonds and to allow the funding through electoral bonds was the correct one, and it was done in the right earnest. That's number one. Is it going to impact things? Yes, it is going to impact, because now we'll go back to cash funding, and people will not come out openly in the funding that they're doing. So that's number one about electoral bonds. Regarding the arrest of Mr. Kejriwal, again, as I said, that's a judicial process. It's not something that we can comment on, though we know the background and the history of all the summons that were made and different times that were asked to come and present himself. So those concerns were there, and for whatever reason, the High Court at that point when the intervention took place and the discussion that was in the High Court, in Delhi High Court, when the case was going on. So that time the Enforcement Directorate had produced some documents, and based on that the High Court has had moved forward. So really it's not something that I would like to comment on, but as I said, it's a process that's being followed. If the process is not being followed, then I'm sure the Supreme Court or the courts will interfere and they will take necessary steps. Regarding the third part, which you mentioned about the freezing of the accounts, again, it's a procedural aspect. You know that certain returns were not filed by the bank, by the concerned parties, and because the returns were not filed by those parties, the normal procedure was for the bank accounts to be frozen. So it's not again a procedure that's being done out of the box for certain parties. It's being done because procedures of returns which every party, for example, our party also, National People's Party, being a national party, we have to follow certain procedures. We have to file returns, and we had a very difficult time to clarify all those aspects which are there, because it is a very, very tedious process. And so those processes were not followed, and based on that, the accounts were frozen. So therefore, it's really not something that one should look at it politically. One should have completed the processes. And since the process was not complete, returns were not filed, the accounts were frozen. So really, that's what the background is.
Nagaland TV, Sob Manulaga Awas. Watch us live on Geo TV and on your television sets as well. For Dimapur viewers, we are on channel number 994 in Global Chapter, and Kohima and Mokokchung viewers, switch to channel number 138 on Hornbill Digital. For all news and updates, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.